Imagine waking up each morning and feeling like your body is betraying you. Your knees scream, your fingers won't bend, and the simple joy of walking feels like a punishment. For millions over 60, this is daily life, not because of aging alone, but because of what's happening inside your body. But here's the truth no one's telling you. Certain everyday foods have the power to fight that pain, to soothe the swelling from the inside out. And today we're going to uncover 3 natural plant-based proteins that are changing lives. Not in theory, but in real homes with real people. Let's begin. If you're tired of just managing pain and want to take control of your health, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon so you never miss a solution that could change your life. And if anything in this video resonates with you, please like and share to help someone else who's struggling. Every morning, Eleanor sat at the edge of her bed and waited. Not for the alarm clock, not for a knock at the door. She waited for her own body to cooperate. At 73, she never expected her joints would become her greatest enemy. Her fingers no longer wrapped easily around the toothbrush. Her knees made even the short walk to the mailbox feel like a marathon. It wasn't just pain, it was betrayal, like her own body had turned against her, quietly, slowly, and then all at once. If you're over 60, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. That deep, aching stiffness that greets you in the morning, the way it takes 10, 15, sometimes 20 minutes just to loosen up. The frustration of wanting to do something simple, open a jar, climb a step, carry groceries, and being stopped by your own hands, your own back, your own legs. What's happening isn't just old age, it's an invisible war, one being fought inside your body every single day. And the front line is inflammation. See, arthritis isn't just about joints wearing out. It's about chronic, low-level inflammation that builds up over time, often for years, until one day you feel like you're living inside a body that doesn't belong to you anymore. That inflammation, it's like a slow fire, burning inside your knees, your wrists, your spine. Sometimes it flares up after certain foods, sometimes it comes with the weather, and sometimes it just shows up, uninvited, and stays for days. Doctors are quick to offer pills, pain relievers, steroids, anti-inflammatories, and yes, sometimes those are necessary. But what they don't always tell you is that there are natural ways to calm that fire, ways that don't come in a pill bottle, ways that begin in your kitchen. Let's go back to Eleanor. Her doctor told her to manage it. She was on 3 medications, none of which seemed to do much more than dull the pain, never quite enough to let her live the way she used to. But one day, while flipping through an old cookbook her mother left behind, Eleanor came across something simple, a lentil soup recipe. She made it, ate it for lunch for a week straight. No expectations. By the 3rd day, something was different. Her hands, the ones that usually throb by noon, felt quieter. The pain hadn't disappeared, but it had softened. By the end of the week, she was walking to the store again without needing to sit on the bench halfway there. That was the beginning of something she never expected. A new understanding that food isn't just fuel, it's medicine. And some foods, especially plant-based proteins, have the power to soothe pain, support your joints, and help you reclaim the life arthritis tries to take away. Here's the part no one talks about. While some foods make inflammation worse, others do the exact opposite. They cool the fire. They calm your body. They work with you, not against you. And today, we're going to look at 3 of the most powerful healing foods you can eat. Not supplements, not expensive powders, just real everyday proteins that have been used for centuries to nourish and strengthen the body. So if you're tired of feeling like pain is your new normal, stay with me, because what you put on your plate might just change the way you walk through the world. Let's start with the quiet champion that's likely sitting in your pantry right now, and you probably didn't know it could change your life. If you passed them in the grocery aisle, you probably wouldn't give them a second look. No bright packaging, no flashy labels, just a humble bag of lentils. Brown, green, maybe red, quiet, plain, forgettable. But if you're living with arthritis, these little legumes might just become your new best friend. Let me introduce you to Walter, 69, a former carpenter who spent decades building homes with his bare hands. But now he couldn't even open a jar of pickles without feeling like his knuckles were on fire. His wife had to button his shirts. His grandson once asked, "Grandpa, how come your fingers look like they're stuck?" Walter had tried the usual route: ibuprofen, hot compresses, a heating pad he kept under his desk. But nothing gave him lasting relief, not until a friend, another retired tradesman, mentioned lentils. Walter laughed at first. What the heck is a bean gonna do for these hands? But he was desperate enough to try anything. So he started small. Lentil soup twice a week, a lentil salad with olive oil and lemon, a simple veggie stew his wife made in the slow cooker. And 3 weeks later, something happened. He reached for his coffee mug one morning and realized he didn't wince. No fire, no stabbing pain. It wasn't a miracle, but it was a breakthrough. So what's the science behind it? Lentils are one of the most powerful plant-based proteins on the planet, especially for people with inflammation. They're packed with magnesium. Think of this as your body's natural muscle relaxer. Magnesium helps calm tension around the joints, eases stiffness, and supports nerve function. A huge win if your pain flares up after long periods of sitting or sleeping. Potassium. Most people overlook this, but potassium flushes out excess sodium. And sodium causes water retention, swelling, and bloating. If your hands or knees feel puffy or tight, potassium is your secret weapon. Folate, vitamin B9, high levels of a compound called homocysteine in your blood can trigger inflammation. Folate brings those levels down, and lentils are full of it. Fiber. You might be wondering, what does fiber have to do with arthritis? The answer, everything. High blood sugar spikes are linked to increased inflammation, and fiber helps regulate blood sugar naturally, smoothing out those spikes. That's why people like Walter, and thousands more, are finding relief in a bowl of lentils, not a bottle of pills. And unlike other plant proteins, lentils are affordable, easy to cook, gentle on digestion, full of flavor when paired with the right ingredients. Plus, they don't require soaking overnight like other beans. Just rinse, boil, simmer, done in under 30 minutes. Want to know how to make them even more powerful? Combine lentils with other anti-inflammatory foods like spinach or kale, more magnesium, vitamin K, a pinch of turmeric and black pepper, nature's pain-fighting duo. A squeeze of lemon, vitamin C helps your body absorb nutrients better. Put all that in one bowl, and you've got a pain-fighting, joint-soothing, inflammation-busting powerhouse. Let me tell you one more quick story. Nora, 72, used to dread grocery shopping. Not because of the crowds, because her ankles couldn't handle the walk. By the time she got to the frozen aisle, she was gripping the cart like a walker. Her daughter sent her an article on arthritis and diet. Nora read it, shrugged, and said, "Fine, I'll give it a month." She started making lentil soup every Sunday, added turmeric, some leafy greens. 6 weeks later, she walked the whole store, no cart. That's the kind of change we're talking about. Not overnight miracles, but small, powerful shifts that add up. And the best part? There's zero downside, no side effects, no prescriptions, no scary warnings, just a bag of lentils, a pot of water, and a little bit of hope. So next time you see lentils on the shelf, don't pass them by. Pick them up, cook them, feel what happens in your body when you give it the right support. Because sometimes the most powerful medicine doesn't come with a label. It comes from your pantry. They're small, round, and unassuming. Most people know them as the base for hummus or a crunchy salad topping. But what if I told you those little chickpeas could change your life? They did for Robert, 74, who once believed his days of pain-free movement were long gone. He used to love working in the garden, pruning roses, pulling weeds, planting tomatoes. But over the years, that joy turned into agony. His knees swelled like balloons. His wrists ached for hours after just a few minutes of gripping a shovel. He called it just getting old. But his daughter called it what it was, inflammation. One day she handed him a simple recipe. "Try this," she said. Chickpea stew with turmeric and spinach. He chuckled. What's this going to do? But he made it anyway, and kept making it. Within a month, he was back in the garden. No ice packs, no moaning when he stood. He even trimmed the hedges with a pair of clippers he hadn't touched in years. So what is it about chickpeas? Just like lentils, chickpeas are a complete plant-based protein. That means they help your body rebuild and repair muscle, crucial for seniors who've lost strength due to chronic joint pain or inactivity. But chickpeas go even further. They're loaded with iron and B6, which help your body create red blood cells, delivering oxygen where it's needed most. If your joints often feel heavy or sluggish, this matters. Manganese, a mineral that supports the formation of cartilage and bone, giving your joints structure and resilience. Zinc, which promotes healing and helps your body fight off the very inflammation that causes stiffness and swelling. But one of the most overlooked benefits of chickpeas is how they support your gut. Why does that matter? Because more and more studies are showing the link between gut health and inflammation. An imbalanced gut can actually increase systemic inflammation, including the inflammation in your joints. But chickpeas are high in prebiotic fiber, which feeds the good bacteria in your gut, helping your whole body function more calmly, more smoothly, with less pain. Let's talk about Teresa, 68, who spent most of her days in a recliner. Walking from the living room to the kitchen felt like climbing a hill. Her ankles would swell. Her hands would lock up after folding laundry. Her doctor upped her meds. She felt numb, physically and emotionally. But then her niece, who was studying nutrition, made her a chickpea curry. Teresa rolled her eyes but ate it to be polite. The next week, her niece made it again. This time, Teresa asked for seconds. 3 weeks in, she called her doctor, not to refill a prescription, but to ask if she could reduce it. Her energy was back. The swelling was down. And for the first time in years, she walked through the park without pain shooting up her calves. You see, chickpeas don't just help your joints move. They help you move through life with more ease, more joy, and less fear of what the next step will cost you. And best of all, they're incredibly versatile. You can roast them with olive oil and garlic for a crispy snack, toss them into soups or stews, blend them into hummus, mix them into salads, even add them to wraps or pasta dishes. They take on whatever flavor you give them. Spicy, savory, even a little sweet. And here's a tip. Pair chickpeas with turmeric and black pepper. Turmeric is a natural anti-inflammatory, and black pepper makes it more absorbable. Throw in some lemon and greens. You've got a meal your joints will thank you for. It's easy to think that small foods can't make a big difference. But the truth is, they often make the difference, especially when they become part of your routine. So if you've been feeling trapped in your own body, like every movement comes with a cost, don't ignore the power of the simple chickpea. Because sometimes healing doesn't start with surgery or another pill, it starts with dinner. When most people think of protein, they picture meat, maybe eggs, maybe dairy. Very few think of quinoa, and almost no one realizes just how powerful this tiny seed can be for aging joints. But it was Carmen, 70, who changed her entire outlook on aging after a bag of quinoa changed her body. She was living alone after her husband passed, quietly enduring the swelling in her knees and the burning in her lower back. Simple things like bending down to get laundry or standing in the kitchen too long left her stiff and sore for hours. I thought this was just what 70 feels like, she said, but now I know. It doesn't have to be. Carmen used to rely on 6 different medications for pain and energy. Today, she's down to 2, and the biggest shift started not in a clinic, but in her pantry. So why quinoa? It's often called a complete protein, just like chickpeas and lentils. But what sets quinoa apart is its nutrient density. It's not just what quinoa gives you, it's how easily your body uses it. Inside each seed is a combination of all 9 essential amino acids, rare in a plant-based food, magnesium and manganese, critical for calming joint pain and supporting bone structure, zinc and iron, needed for immune balance and energy, vitamin E, a potent antioxidant that helps repair inflamed tissue. But quinoa goes beyond nutrition. It also helps regulate cortisol, your body's stress hormone. And guess what? Chronic stress increases inflammation. So by helping balance your body's stress response, quinoa isn't just feeding you, it's healing you from the inside out. That's what happened for David, 73, who hadn't slept through the night in years. His hips throbbed every time he rolled over. He was tired, frustrated, and he'd started skipping his morning walks because it took too long for the pain to ease up. His granddaughter, a fitness coach, convinced him to try quinoa for breakfast, cooked like oatmeal with almond milk and cinnamon. 3 weeks later, he called her with tears in his eyes. "I slept," he whispered. "I actually slept." And for David, that meant everything. See, when you don't sleep, your inflammation gets worse. But when you fuel your body with anti-inflammatory foods like quinoa, it creates a ripple effect. Better energy, less pain, and real rest. Here's what makes quinoa so accessible for seniors. It's naturally gluten-free. It's easy to digest. It's incredibly quick to cook. Done in about 15 minutes, it pairs well with both savory and sweet flavors. You can mix it into soups, use it as a base for warm salads, combine it with chickpeas and lentils for a protein-packed bowl, or turn it into a soft, healing breakfast porridge. And if you're dealing with both pain and fatigue, quinoa is especially important. Why? Because when inflammation drains your energy, your body needs fuel that doesn't spike your blood sugar. And quinoa's complex carbs release slowly, giving you longer-lasting strength without the crash. Let's go back to Carmen. After 3 months of adding quinoa to her meals, sometimes with lentils, sometimes just tossed with herbs and olive oil, she started walking every day again, not just to the mailbox, but around the neighborhood. "I feel like I got a piece of my life back," she told us, "and no one talks about this." No one tells you how much food matters at this age, but it does. And it's not about some miracle diet or cutting everything out. It's about bringing in more of what your body loves. And quinoa? It's one of those things. So next time you see a dusty bag of it sitting in the grocery aisle, don't walk past. Pick it up, cook it, try it. Because sometimes the secret to feeling strong again is hiding in something small. By now you've seen what lentils, chickpeas, and quinoa can do, each one powerful on its own. But when you combine them, you create something even stronger, an anti-inflammatory plate that works harder than any pill ever could. And the best part? You don't need to change your whole life overnight. Just a few small shifts, a few times a week, and your body will feel the difference. Let's paint a simple picture. Breakfast, quinoa porridge, cooked with cinnamon and almond milk, topped with blueberries or sliced banana. Steady energy, less inflammation, no sugar crash. Lunch, lentil and chickpea salad with chopped spinach, cherry tomatoes, a drizzle of olive oil, and a squeeze of lemon. Powerful protein, healing greens, joint-calming nutrients in every bite. Dinner, a warm lentil stew, or a chickpea curry, or a quinoa and veggie bowl with turmeric and garlic. It doesn't have to be complicated, it just has to be consistent. You don't have to go vegan. You don't have to give up meat entirely. But adding just one plant-powered meal a day, even a few times a week, can cool the fire that's burning inside your joints. Let's revisit Lisa, 66. She used to wear wrist braces every morning just to make breakfast. Opening a jar? Couldn't do it. Brushing her hair? Only with her non-dominant hand. But her friend, who had started experimenting with anti-inflammatory foods, invited her over one afternoon. They made a lentil quinoa soup together. Nothing fancy, just fresh, real food. Lisa started making it twice a week, then 3 times. Then she added chickpeas into her salads. She didn't even notice how often she was reaching for vegetables instead of toast. Until one day, she realized she hadn't worn her wrist brace in nearly 2 weeks. That's how it happens. Not with fanfare, not with a dramatic before and after, but with small, quiet victories. Less pain in the morning, more strength in the afternoon, a walk that doesn't end in swelling, a night of sleep without fire in your knees. That's what happens when food becomes your partner, not your problem. So here's your invitation. Don't just listen. Don't just learn. Try. Buy 1 bag of lentils. Cook 1 pot of chickpeas. Try quinoa for breakfast this week. Then listen to your body. Because if you give it the right tool, it will respond. Your joints are not your enemy, they're just asking for help, and now you know how to give it. If you've made it this far, you already know something deep inside you is ready to change. Maybe it's your joints that ache. Maybe it's the frustration of feeling limited by your own body. Or maybe you're just tired of being told that pain is your new normal. Here's what I want you to remember. You're not broken, you're not too old, and it's not too late. The pain in your knees, the stiffness in your hands, the heaviness that makes simple things feel impossible, it doesn't have to stay this way. Every time you fill your plate with healing foods, with lentils, chickpeas, quinoa, you're doing more than feeding your body. You're reclaiming your independence. You're rebuilding your strength. You're standing up for the life you still deserve to live. You don't need extreme diets. You don't need expensive treatments. You just need to believe that change is still possible, because it is. So here's what I want you to do right now. Comment below, "I'm ready to feel better." Let's start this journey together. Subscribe and turn on the bell icon. We share powerful healing solutions like this every single week. Share this video with someone you love, someone who's hurting but doesn't know where to start, because small steps lead to big changes. And sometimes that change starts with something as simple as what's on your plate. You've spent enough time surviving. Now it's time to start living again. Right now you have a choice. You can close this video and go back to living with that quiet pain, the stiffness, the swelling, the frustration of feeling like no one understands what it's like to live in your body. Or you can take this moment, this exact moment, and decide that you're done settling, done surviving, done waiting for someone else to fix it, because now you know better. You know that what you put on your plate can either feed the pain or help you heal it. And no, it won't happen overnight. But imagine what life could feel like 30 days from now. Waking up and not dreading the first step out of bed. Cooking a meal without aching wrists. Walking through the park, not like someone trying to keep up with age, but like someone who finally remembered they still have power. You have power. You always did. It was just waiting on you to use it. So if this message meant something to you, if you felt seen, then I want you to do 3 things right now. Comment below, "I'm taking my strength back." Say it out loud. Say it with pride. Share this video with someone else who needs hope. Subscribe and turn on the bell, because you deserve to hear this kind of truth every single week. You raised families. You worked hard. You gave everything. Now it's your turn to feel strong, to feel free, to feel good again. This is just the beginning, and I'll be here for the journey. If you're still here, it means something in this message spoke to you. Maybe it reminded you of the pain you've been quietly living with. Maybe it gave you hope. Or maybe it just made you feel seen for the first time in a long time. Now imagine someone else, someone you care about, watching this video and realizing they're not alone either. So here's what I want you to do. Comment below, "I'm ready to feel better." Let me know you're with me. Share this video with someone who's also been struggling in silence. And if you haven't yet, subscribe and turn on the bell icon right now. Because every week we talk about real solutions for real people. No hype, just healing. You've spent enough time surviving. Now it's your time to start feeling good again.